This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, where we discuss the latest and greatest news in the world of sports. As always, I am Ben.
I like the way you say that. As always, I am Alex.
There you go. There you go, Alex.
Just like you, man.
Hey, I mean, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so.
Do you want to tell the listeners what we've been doing for the last 5 minutes between our shows?
Drinking water?
Because it's as hot as the Sahara in here.
In the studio,
where we are. Yeah, not like...
It's like a small room. We have no heating and air in here yet. We're supposed to get it on Friday. We have like 2 computer monitors in here, a computer, 4 microphones, a lot of equipment.
Don't forget, these interfaces get warm. Like, they get hot. They radiate heat off of them.
Yeah, all this equipment in this small, condensed room, there's at least 2 people in here, sometimes 3, so it gets really hot. But, I mean, I don't really notice it during the show. Just
consider yourself lucky, man, that you're over there and not over here.
When we have our breaks is when
That's when you notice it, because I'll sit up and I'm like, oh, God.
During the show, we're just in our zone, in our groove, so I don't really
I'm glad that you get in the zone, too, because I really get in the zone.
I do.
Like auto zone. I get in the zone so quickly.
Get in the zone, auto zone.
It's free advertising right there.
Hey.
All right, what are we talking?
We should get a contract with them.
Exactly. William,
talk to AutoZone if you're listening.
What are we talking about today?
Okay, so today we're going to lead off. Like how I did that? Lead off with the College World Series.
That's back-to-back episodes that you had some solid puns.
I try, man. I try.
I always mess with my girlfriend. She says I make dad jokes because I always make puns, things like that. But those are
they're solid.
I respect the heck out of those puns.
Thank you. So we're going to lead off with the College World Series, which is underway. Game 2 is tonight. Game 1 was last night. We have Arizona and Coastal Carolina. It's a best-of-3 series, so Arizona are going for the national championship tonight. Have to see if Coastal Carolina can make it a third game there.
Best-of-3 is so weird.
I think it's too small.
I like best-of-5.
I'd say 5 would be good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to be talking about that, and then we're going to transition to some Olympics news. We have the finalized roster for the United States men's and women's announced. We have some other Olympic news, some people in golf opting to not go to Rio, some of the big name guys as well. And then we're going to close out the show with some NASCAR news. We had a race here in Sonoma over the weekend. It was the Toyota Save Mart 350, I believe. And it may be changed now, but that's what it was when I used to go a couple years ago, because I've actually gone to this event. So it's up in wine country in Sonoma here in Northern California. It's our most local race.
Yeah, it's the closest to us if you don't want to, from where we are, if you don't want to drive, a few hours. Even there.
It's only a few hours away.
Well, I mean, even if you don't want to drive down to the bigger racetracks or go to Vegas or anything, yeah, it's the closest to where you and I are, technically.
Yeah, and it was really a epic win there. So
it was a good race.
Winning, and he was actually trailing going into the last turn of the race. So
we'll get into that.
We're going to break down that here, and then we're going to also talk about some other NASCAR news. We had a little brawl at Saturday I guess you could say Camping World Truck Series.
Yeah, it was a truck series. It was a form of NASCAR. It wasn't Premier. It wasn't Sprint Cup or Nationwide, but it was a sense,
We had a minor little. I'd say more of a scuffle than a brawl, but
yeah,
it was just funny. It was more so funny than anything between a couple of guys there in the truck series. So, going to talk about that as well. So we're going to be leading off, as I mentioned, with the College World Series. Alex, did you see the game last night?
Yeah, so I did. I watched up until the 5th actually, and I had to leave. But
the 5th inning?
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, the 6th inning, which is funny because it goes with my analysis here. Arizona is known as a team that's very offensive to start the games, and the tricky thing is they were making a very good point. They're saying they had the guy starting. Let me see if I can find his first name for Coastal Carolina. He wasn't their ace by any means. He was not their ace. And the day prior, they had their closer. He threw 80 pitches.
The closer?
Yeah, not closing either. He had like a long relief session.
Okay.
So that's the tricky thing. But I can't find his first name. I want to say maybe Zach. But the Coastal Carolina's pitcher, his name is Hopek. From the get-go, from the first inning, Arizona scored Arizona scored 1 run, but they start off the first batter of the game had a ground rule double.
Okay.
Next batter grounded out to shortstop, but he advanced that run in the third, and then immediately following, the next batter had a single. From there, 1-0. And, the announcer's saying this is what Arizona does. They get into the game quick. They just, they immediately get in there. At one point, they had, I want to say, runners on second and third, if not first and third, and they ended up getting out of it with just 1 run. And it was a very solid game throughout because after that 1 run, there wasn't scoring again until the 7th. Now, Coastal Carolina, unfortunately, did not get any runs. They were held to only 4 hits in the entire game. Only 6, though, on Arizona's side, but Arizona just knew how to capitalize. So, again, getting to the 7th of the inning, they actually scored 2 runs in that inning. Hopek actually pitched throughout the rest of the game after that first inning 1 run, he gave up. He pitched into the 7th, and he pitched well. But he did get relieved by Schaefer. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have these first names. To help you out here. But so pretty much he starts off that inning, he gets up a leadoff single, and then immediately a sacrifice to the next batter, moves that guy to second. So he does get taken out in the next the next at bat. But there was a wild pitch immediately following that, and then they walked the bases loaded. First and second, as a matter of fact. And then from there, sacrifice fly and a single back-to-back. They extended their lead to 3-0. So Arizona just really did what they needed to do in this game 1. They both each had a loss, and they were playing elimination games prior to this, so neither team had their aces. But I will give it to Arizona's pitcher. I'm going to go find his name real quick. I apologize.
J.C. Cloney. He threw a complete game 4-hitter shutout.
Complete game 4-hitter.
He had it rolling last night.
Only 3 walks. He did strike out 6. Like I said, 4 hits. He played lights out. He pitched great. He played really well.
And he threw 122 pitches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he and which you don't see in college very often.
Even in the majors, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean Hopek he had 103.
That's a lot of pitches.
He's had a good playoff through this World Series too. He's 8-4 throughout the season, with a 2.45 ERA. He's a good pitcher, and he really proved it. Now, what's going to be important?
And it's Zach Hopek.
Zach Hopek. Yes, I knew it.
You said it was Zach,
I guessed it. What's important though for Coastal Carolina is they need to come into the next game as if it's not only an elimination game, but it's just a whole new game. They did things right in this game. They really did. Like I said, they only held them to 6 points. It was 2 sacrifice fly. No, not 2, but 2 sacrifice fly. No. I'm sorry, 2 singles and a sacrifice fly. But I'm rambling, but they did what they needed to. They weren't giving up. Besides that 1 ground rule double, I don't think they gave up very many extra base hits. They really played a strong game, and like I said, that pitcher came around and played very well the remainder of that game until he came out in the 7th. And honestly, I thought they should have kept him in there. He gave up 1. He put 1 guy on. He pitched through guys on base the whole game. For the most part. And again, not very many hits, but there's guys that got on base that he pitched through and got out of jams.
I think more so than anything, Coastal Carolina has just run into a guy in Cloney who's really been playing absolutely perfect as of lately. He's got a 16-inning scoreless streak going on in the College World Series, which is only a third of an inning behind John Stewart from USC in 1966, who holds the record. So I think more so than anything, they're just running into a guy who's really on a roll right now and playing exceptionally well. And now, obviously, tonight they won't have to deal with him, so maybe they can come back. They're still a great team. They were 53-18 in the season. So it's not like they're the underdogs really coming out of nowhere. If you look at the programs-wise, Coastal Carolina compared to Arizona, college-wise, they're underdog collegiate sports, But so they definitely do have a chance here. Hopefully they can make it a best-of-3 series because anytime you have that one game, it's always more entertaining, more pressured up, more amped up. So maybe they can do it, and that would happen on Wednesday if they were to win tonight.
Yeah, like I said, too, though, Arizona and Coastal Carolina both lost at least 1 game. Coastal Carolina actually losing 2. So Carolina is very familiar with playing to win. So Coastal Carolina, it's going to be interesting to see how they do tonight. There's no announcement on the pitchers yet. I just took a look, and there's nothing announced yet. But tonight's game, it starts 4 our time. I want to say 5 maybe our time. It said 8 o'clock on there. But
did you see what is going to happen to Jake Arrieta?
8 p.m. Eastern time, so it starts 5 o'clock here. I'm sorry, Jake Arrieta, the pitcher.
Yeah, did you see what the storyline with Jake Arrieta is here? He's going to have to get a Coastal Carolina tattoo.
If they win?
No, because Coastal Carolina beat TCU.
Oh, and he went
which
TCU,
is where Arrieta went to. And he has a teammate, Tommy LaStella, who went to Coastal Carolina, and they made a bet. Personally, I would never agree to this bet either way. But yeah, so Arrieta has to get a Coastal Carolina tattoo now because TCU was eliminated by Coastal Carolina. So as far as where, I don't know. It doesn't really say. I'm guessing it's going to be on a part that's not visually acceptable, probably hidden by clothes. Mm-hmm. But I would personally never agree to a bet like this. But Arrieta has to get a Coastal Carolina tattoo after they eliminate TCU, which is where he went to school. So
that's pretty funny.
He and teammate Tommy LaStella had that.
Do you know who they mentioned as the famous alumni of Arizona?
Arizona?
Yeah, that's baseball career. No longer a player, but he is a coach, formerly a player. If you would like a hint, he played for teams such as the Expos, the Cubs, the Reds, the Indians, and the Brewers as recently as 1990.
Oh, my God.
And is currently a coach, manager, I guess you could say, currently with a team that I can't tell you where because that's just too easy. But he was. Let me put it this way: he was the Phillies manager from 1997 to 2000, and then was a very successful manager for one team from 2004 to 2011, winning 2 World Series. And then he took a couple years off, and now he's currently a manager for another AL team.
I feel like I should know it, but I'm just going to say I don't.
He played college baseball for Arizona, the Wildcats. He won the 1980 World Series, College World Series, and was named the tournament's most outstanding player.
Oh, no, I know it now. Now I know it. Terry Francona. Okay.
There you go.
I had to think. I was thinking about it after I said I didn't know. I'm like, well, let me think about this.
First round draft pick, too.
There you go.
Yeah, so Cleveland Indians. Yeah, he's currently.
Yeah, now he won the World Series with the Red Sox, though.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yep.
Yeah, so currently the World Series. Currently the. I don't know if that was the last time Arizona won the College World Series, but yes, he did indeed win one with them.
Oh, there you go. So we'll have to see what happens Game 2 tonight. Coastal Carolina and Arizona in the College World Series.
5 Pacific
championship.
Time. Yep. They got their backs against the wall. 5 Pacific and 8 Eastern time. Real quick, though, we're going to take a quick first break, as a matter of fact, and we'll come back with the Olympic news that we've been teasing all day. So don't go anywhere here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. We will be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
The 6 shooters are out and they're hot.
Shooters are out and they're about as hot as we are in the studio here.
I like it. We're moving on to the Olympics. So we'll start with the smaller news to start. Golfer Jason Day and
Shane Lowry,
thank you, have both have said that the Zika virus will keep them out of the Rio Olympics this summer, which is not the first and I'm sure not the last of any athlete, sporting this decision to not attend. As a matter of fact, the sport lost its 2 biggest stars in the past week. Rory McIlroy is also not attending. Zika will be keeping him out of the Rio de Janeiro Olympics as well. So to say, Jason Day said, the sole reason for my decision is my concerns about the possible transmission of this virus and potential risks that it may present to my wife's future pregnancies and to future members of our family. I've always placed my family in front of everything else in my life. And yes, you did say 28-year-old Australian Shane Lowry is also withdrawing from the Olympics because of Zika, and one of the most prominent athletes to specifically, cite the virus for not going to Rio. McElroy, like I said, Mark Leishman, Charles Schwartzel, and Brandon Grace, all golfers that are not going to be, not going to be participating. As specifically too, Mark Leishman, his wife's immune system hasn't fully recovered after she nearly died last year from toxic shock syndrome. So something he's not going to be, even getting near. American cyclist Tajay Van Garderen, doesn't sound American to me, but whatever you say, is among a handful of athletes outside of golf, including Steph Curry, who have cited Zika as a reason they do not plan on attending the tournament. So what do you think of this? Do you what would you do if you were in this position? Would you go to the Olympics? Would you say you're somebody who has trained their entire life for the Olympics, right? These guys seem to, and I'm saying like golf, you have your PGA, basketball, you have the NBA. Cyclists have, regular cycling events. Say you're a track and field person. Say you're a javelin thrower. Say you're into the karate, the jiu-jitsu stuff, a gymnast. Would you let it stop you if you're somebody who had trained your whole life leading up to maybe this is your first Olympics, or maybe this is your second Olympics and the first didn't go as well as maybe you had hoped?
I think there's a couple determining factors I look at here. So one, I think it depends on the sport. You mentioned golf. You have, the Masters. You have the U.S. Open, British Open, all these other tournaments you can participate in to earn money. A gold medal may not mean as much to you as a guy like a gymnast, you say, where the Olympics is basically like the Super Bowl, the culmination of everything they're going for. So I think that has a determining factor in it.
Yeah, or a swimmer.
Number one. Number two, I think you look at it with a lot of the golfers. The difference here is they're playing outdoors. So that's where you have the Zika, which is transmitted through mosquitoes, where you're more of a threat to have been infected by that, whereas opposed to you might be a swimmer or a basketball player, you're playing inside a stadium, a gymnasium, so you have that added barrier of protection where they're not going to get inside. With golf, you're playing outside, that's where mosquitoes are, so you have an added threat there where you're not really focused on looking for mosquitoes and you're trying to, which club do you want to use? Do you want to lay up? Do you want to go for it here? So I think you have that added concern there with that. If it's me, I definitely look at what does my family think about it? How much does it mean to me? And then go from there. So,
and you can look at your sport too. Swimmers, I suppose, don't have to deal with, mosquitoes.
Right. They're inside, and the splashing of the water is going to, if they're swimming outside for some reason, it's going to disturb the bugs and everything. So, but I think I'd definitely look at it, sit down with my family, decide what you think is best, and go from there. So
okay. Now, keeping with the Olympic news, we do have a official United States men's Olympic basketball team roster. And women's roster. So I'll do the men's, you do the women's, okay?
That sounds fine with me.
Okay, so they're seeking their third consecutive Olympic title. The roster consists of Carmelo Anthony of the New York Knicks, formerly Syracuse, Harrison Barnes of the Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler of Chicago, who was apparently, we were talking about last show, there was a rumor that he was going to get traded. So hey,
Minnesota did
maybe
try
formally.
Minnesota did try to get him with that Chris Dunn pick. So
all right, one of my favorite inclusions, because being a Kings fan, DeMarcus Cousins, his first Olympics. DeMar DeRozan of the Toronto Raptors, Kevin Durant of Oklahoma City, currently.
Well, currently he's a free agent. But
I suppose you could say that.
Formerly of the Thunder, maybe futurely of the Thunder too.
Paul George returning to the international stage after you have that just gruesome injury the last time out of the Indiana Pacers, from the Indiana Pacers. Draymond Green, one of two Golden State Warriors.
Three.
Harrison Barnes. My fault. I was thinking that as I was saying it. Draymond Warrior, Golden State, one of three. Kyrie Irving, newly crowned NBA Finals champ from Cleveland. DeAndre Jordan of the Los Angeles Clippers. Kyle Lowry of the Toronto Raptors. And the third and final Golden State member and last member of the team, Klay Thompson of Golden State. So that is the official roster. You do have Carmelo and Kevin Durant on that team, winners of the last Olympic gold. I don't know if there's anybody else on the team that won it, though.
I don't believe so. All these faces look really new and fresh.
Yeah.
So.
That's still a strong team. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no way that they shouldn't win the gold medal by a landslide.
9 players: Anthony Butler, Cousins, DeRozan, Durant, George, Green, Lowry, and Thompson were all named 2016 NBA All-Stars, while Irving, who was named MVP of the 2014 World Cup after leading the Americans to gold, obviously recently just captured his NBA championship. So, obviously, a very strong team still.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say the only downside to this team is maybe size. The only true big man they have is DeMarcus Cousins and DeAndre Jordan.
And DeMarcus is still a stretch guy. I would say the only really true 5 would be DeAndre.
Yeah, but definitely I'd put them 2 as the only big guys. So maybe you see Durant or Paul George play a 4 at times, maybe like a stretch 4, because they're going to have a lot of these perimeter guys out there.
I could see Cousins playing a stretch 4.
I could too. If you maybe if you put him and DeAndre Jordan in the lineup at the same time, I feel like if it's just one or the other, they're going to be the true 5, and you have
I mean, he's
Durant,
really
Paul George, Draymond Green, maybe Anthony to be the stretch 4s. So
yeah, Cousins definitely has upgraded his perimeter game, having made up
he's
until
even a good shooter for 3-point.
That's what I'm saying. Two years ago, he had 6 career 3-pointers made. Right, not this past season, but the year prior, he had 6 in that season total, and then last year he made I want to say 15. He just keeps getting better every year. So he has a good perimeter game, like you said. Harrison Barnes is going to be a good stretch player for them. He can kind of do 3-4 if he needs. Jimmy Butler obviously is a young, good player. DeMar DeRozan is going to be interesting to watch. Paul George, I want to see how he does. Hopefully he stays healthy. Draymond Green obviously is the definition of a stretch player in the NBA these years. And then you have guys like DeMarcus who plays it well. So, yeah, it's going to be – I mean, it's a lot of versatility that it brings to the table as opposed to other years where they've had more defined players, defined positions. So, definitely something I'm interested in watching.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony is going for his 3rd gold medal. He will be the only player to ever get that. So, what do you think is a starting 5 goes? I feel like you'd probably start Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I'd have Kyrie.
I'd probably go Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson. I'd probably go...
It's hard not to start Jimmy, but...
I would bring Jimmy Butler off the bench. So I would go Kyrie, Klay Thompson. I'd go Durant, Paul George, and Cousins.
I can't really argue with that.
I don't see them doing that, though, because this is really scary for me to say, but I guess you can say Carmelo Anthony is the leader of this team, being the veteran of this group.
I think he starts.
I think they'll probably go with Carmelo instead of Paul George, and maybe put Durant at the 4 with Cousins at the 5. But, I mean, I would go with Kyrie, Klay, Durant, Paul George, and Cousins, but I think they will go with Kyrie, Klay, Carmelo, Durant, and Boogie Cousins. But I mean, no matter who you throw in there, it's just
it's not like you have scrubs. It's not like there's one starting lineup and one scrub lineup.
It's like, okay, I'll bring in Draymond Green, Kyle Lowry, and Paul George off the bench, or DeMar DeRozan off the bench. Like you know, what I mean,
oh great, yeah,
like
it's gonna be pretty solid.
Come
still.
on, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised too if Coach K uses the idea of playing all 3 Golden State Warrior players together.
Like that chemistry factor?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
like we were talking about on our soccer show with England and a lot of the Man U front guys playing together.
we'll
Didn't go great for them.
England later.
You know what I mean? In that sense. But I'm very excited. I love Olympic basketball.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of these other countries that could, I don't know if I'm going to put these in air quotes, but challenge, maybe like France, Spain, Croatia, they might have a few NBA players on their roster, but we're looking at 12 all-stars, really. You know what I mean? You mentioned 9 of them were all-stars last year. But we're looking at 12 basically all-stars here as opposed to maybe 3 or 4 NBA players. Like, hands down, even if they get an injury or 2, which hopefully does not happen, but they should just win the gold medal landslide.
Oh, and also, so yes, Durant and Anthony are the only 2 Olympic gold medalists, but you do have 5 players who have been members of the USA World Cup gold medalist teams. It's Cousins, DeRozan, Durant, Irving, and Thompson. So, interesting to see and to say the least. Now, you have the women's roster for me.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And it's about just as stacked as the men's roster, if not better. So the United States women are going for their record 6th straight gold medal.
Yeah, they're no
24
joke,
years of just dominating the women's basketball scene.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy duty, I'll tell you that.
So we have Simone Augustus. She currently plays for the Minnesota Lynx. We have Sue Bird. She's really been a legend. She's been around for a long time. She's on
It's probably her last Olympics.
Yeah, definitely. She's 35 years old. So she's on the Seattle Storm. Tamika Catchings, probably her last year as well in the Olympics. She's going to be retiring soon in the WNBA as well. She plays for the Indiana Fever. Now we have some younger people. Tina Charles, she currently plays for the New York Liberty. She's 27 years old. Then going down the list, next we have people like Elena Delle Donne. She's really young. She just came out of college 4 years ago. So actually 3 years ago, I'm sorry. She's on the Chicago Sky. Sylvia Fowles, she's a big. She's currently on the Minnesota Lynx as well. Brittany Griner, definitely don't have to go any farther from there, from Baylor. She's 25 years old, the biggest player on the team, standing 6'8". Move to some of the guards. You have Angel McCautry. She's currently on the Atlanta Dream. She's a great scorer. Maya Moore, probably the best player, in my opinion, on this team. Really diverse there on the Lynx as well. A lot of Lynx players on this USA team. So one of the best WNBA teams as well. So
did you say Breanna Stewart was on there?
Breanna Stewart, that's actually next on my list. So Breanna Stewart, she's actually a rookie. She's currently on the Seattle Storm, but she won numerous Final Four MVP 4 years in a row in college for UConn. They've won the national championship 4 years in a row now, so she's on that team as well. Diana Taurasi, a legend of women's basketball. She's 34, so she's coming up there in age, but she's definitely still a handful. She kind of reminds me of like the women's Kobe. Mm-hmm. She's so versatile, a great perimeter player. And then rounding out the list is Lindsay Whalen, who is also on the Lynx and is going to be probably her last Olympics at 34 years old. So USA women should definitely dominate this team, in my opinion. So.
Do you have a starting five for me?
I mean, I definitely think there's a lot more different ways you could go here. I don't see how Maya Moore does not start. I definitely think Brittany Griner starts. Mm-hmm. I think Elena Delle Donne starts for sure. Then it gets kind of interesting where you go with the guards. I'd probably say Taurasi starts. Maybe you could throw in Angel McCautry there. But there's a lot of different ways that Gino Aoyama, who's the coach for the women's national team, can go here. And as I mentioned, bringing players off the bench, they're going to be playing in just absolutely dominant players. So this should be another landslide victory for the United States and go for their 6th gold medal in a row.
All right, man. Well, I look forward to it. And I'm looking forward to the Olympics in general. It's getting really close to starting.
Yeah, August 5th. So we have a little over a month now.
Yeah, it's crazy. The way I come to work, that's a good way of remembering it. The way I come to work, they're going to put a roundabout. So it's going to be closed from the 5th to the 5th. From July 5th to August 5th? So I have to start finding a new way to go. But, hey, that's an easy way to remember.
So roundabout opens, and then it's Olympic time.
Two good things, I guess. But we're
transportation-wise, yeah.
I suppose so. But it's making me go out of my way. But anyway, I digress. We're going to take one last quick break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. You guys don't go anywhere. We have a little bit of NASCAR news here for you to finish off the day. So we will be right back.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
And we are back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast / the Twin Shooters podcast.
The Twin Shooters podcast.
We have a little bit of breaking news from the MLB before we get into NASCAR. Padres' John Jay broke his forearm, and he is heading to the DL. So for those of you who might be listening that have fantasy baseball and have John Jay on your team, yeah, he broke it. It's broke, man. He hasn't played since June 19th. He took a 89-mile-per-hour fastball off of Gio Gonzalez, right to the forearm.
Ouch.
Yeah, so it is indeed broke-a-did.
As if it didn't get any worse for the Padres.
Yeah, well, initially X-rays came back negative. He traveled with the team. Obviously, wasn't doing anything for him. They took a CT scan on Monday and did reveal a fracture. So he's looking about 6 to 8 weeks. So he was the leadoff guy. He was hitting 296, 345 on base percentage, 20 doubles, 2 home runs. Not bad, He
statistical year
for him. But rookie center fielder Travis Jankowski is now expected to be starting and playing in that position for him. So,
yeah, the Padres currently last in the NL West with a record of 33-44. They're just a merely 15 and a half games behind the Giants. So, I'm joking, but yeah, unfortunate event for the Padres for an already unfortunate season.
One thing that it is good for the Padres is left fielder Alex Dickerson. He's coming up from AAA El Paso. They can keep an eye on him so far. He actually has played 8 games for them this year. He's hit only 2 for 10, but he had a grand slam. So
okay,
with El Paso, he's hitting 382 with 10 home runs, and
that's a monster average.
That's in 62 games. So yeah, pretty good. But moving on, we got some racing news. Ben, you told me a very funny story today. I would like you to tell it again.
So we watched this.
Please.
What do you want? What do you think we should call it? A scuffle or?
I don't know if you could call it any word that even is relatively similar to the word fight.
So a scuffle.
I don't know if you could call it that.
So what do you call it then?
A joke.
How about a joke of a fight?
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Or a joke of a scuffle.
Sure.
So we had here on Saturday in the Camping World Truck Series event, we had a joke of a scuffle is what we're going with?
We had a fight.
A fight. Okay,
the
we'll call it a
racers
fight.
fought.
Between John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher. So these two had two on-track incidents where they, got into some trouble, banged each other up, and then we had a caution here, and then they finally decided, you know what? We're just going to get out of our trucks and brawl it out. And it lasted maybe like a minute long, and I'd say maybe 40 to 45 seconds of that was comprised of them just really kind of hugging it out.
But they were holding on to each other, trying to put them in chokeholds and stuff, and
yeah, he had him in a headlock and then decides to just throw a couple punches at him. So I guess he got a couple of good ones in there. There was one takedown in there, but I think if you take it to the judges' scorecards, it was just a laughing matter. I thought it was pretty silly. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I'll give you one quick other, since we're not necessarily only limiting this to NASCAR, we are talking racing. I'll give you one other funny little racing story. I don't know where or when this happened. It's just a video I saw today, as a matter of fact, on ESPN.com, and it was on Fox Sports. It was motorcycle racing, where they get real low, like the heavy duty motorcycle racing. I feel like
they always are gonna hit the ground. They're so close to the ground when they turn.
So
it's unbelievable.
This guy did fall. He did fall out, and he gets up and he wants to get back in the race as fast as he can. He has another bike ready. So what he does is he runs to the side of the track, it's that whole pit area, but not the literal pit area, but the big sides of the track where there's a lot of stuff going on. He runs over there. You see him kind of looking for something. He can't really figure out what it is. He grabs somebody's scooter, motor scooter, but it looks like a Vespa, but it's a decent sized scooter, and he takes it and he just peels out to race back to his pit area so he can get another motorcycle.
Hey, every second counts, man.
Yeah, he's wearing his full gear, his helmet and everything. He's just speeding along the outside of the guardrail of this actual track to go get his motorcycle so he can get back in the race.
That's pretty funny.
It's ridiculous. You guys should watch this video. It's on ESPN. He brings the bike back. He parks it all nice by his trailer, and he's like, all right, I gotta go.
So on Monday, Spencer Gallagher did issue an apology about the incident that happened. He said that he did not wreck West Townley on purpose. It was really accidental. It did not mean to escalate the way it did. He apologized. But some people were actually spoken out about this race, and one of them is Tony Stewart, who we're going to talk a little about later. But he was really in favor of John West Townley and what he did. He tweets, "Well, at John West Townley is now officially my newest hero. It's about time someone had the balls to do what they thought was right." And he put a thumbs up emoji. What
does he mean by that? Fighting the guy?
I guess. I mean, he thought that what he did was not right, and he stepped out and was really aggressive and showing that he didn't think it was right. So, I mean, I guess so. Smoke Stewart, he's been in a number of scuffles his own right. I feel like in NASCAR, a lot of times he's had some incidents with Brad Keselowski before. So a lot of times they are very vocal and really aggressive like this. This is not something that
I feel like that's something Stewart shouldn't say, because a couple years ago when the unfortunate accident where he hit that guy,
Kevin Ward Jr., and he actually died.
That guy got out of his car to tell him what he did wrong. So I don't think that's something Stewart should be saying.
Well, Tony Stewart's always been a really outspoken guy, so
yeah,
I don't know.
You could say that.
So transitioning to more Tony Stewart news. So on Sunday, he actually did win the Toyota Save Mart 350, which was at Sonoma, as Alex and I mentioned, and he ended a 84 race winless drought.
Yeah, so the results being top 5, you got Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Carl Edwards, and finishing off the top 5 is Martin Truex Jr. Other notable finishes would be Kyle Busch there at 7. You got Casey Kane finishing 32, Kurt Busch and Earnhardt going 10 and 11. Jimmy Johnson going 13. You mentioned Brad Keselowski. He finished in 15th. The Sonoma racetrack is more of a road track. It's not a big open track. It is more of a road track, and if you're not necessarily one of the guys that's really heavy duty on those, it can be a downfall of yours. Danica Patrick, another notable name, finishing 19th with Matt Kenseth finishing out the more notable names there at 20th. So a good race, to say the least. You were correct. Stewart did end quite a long drought there for him.
Yeah, he hadn't won in
He took a
races.
break from NASCAR for a while.
And he had an injury. He broke his leg when he got in an accident a couple of years ago. So really good for Tony Stewart. He's had some unfortunate things happen to him. So it's really nice to see him win again. This is a big win for him because he's only one spot behind the chase, which is kind of like the playoffs for NASCAR. He's only one spot behind now. Yeah,
in a sense, it's point-based.
Yes, so it depends on where you finish. Wins get you more points. Leading laps, leading most laps. So a lot of determining factors in there. So Stewart currently 17th, just one spot out of the chase. Yep.
And yes, like you said, it's his first win this season, as a matter of fact.
And he's won here before. He's won a couple times at the Sonoma Raceway. He's won at Watkins Glen before. So he's a good road course racer. So not a surprise here that he was able to win, but he was actually trailing in the last lap, Alex. So on road courses, you don't see very much passing going on. A lot of times they're really close turns. You don't see much passing. The track is not very wide, so it's hard to go around people sometimes. But Denny Hamlin was actually past Tony Stewart on turn 7. And then turn 11 is basically just a big U-turn.
Yeah, it's pretty much you lead your entire way up, and then it's just a big turnaround.
And then Denny Hamlin actually went too wide into the turn, and then he obviously left the cushion there for Stewart to get by him, and Stewart ended up getting by him and winning the race. So a little unfortunate there for Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin having a good year. He's currently 10th in the standings. He's got 5 top 5 finishes, and he's also won one race.
And that's all it takes. He's already guaranteed a spot in the Sprint Cup final. In the
Pretty
chase.
much. I mean, if things
all you need is I think 2 top 5 finishes.
As long as things keep going as they're projected here, he's having a good season. We still have a lot more to go. The Sprint Cup Series doesn't really wind down until the late November, December range, so it's still in the summer, and they race pretty much every week. So there's still a lot to go there, but yeah, he's currently in a good position at number 10.
Yeah, and so that was the Toyota Save Mart 350, which is normally the Sonoma Raceway name anyway. But we are looking forward to quite the race, as a matter of fact, on Saturday. And you have the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. You have Daytona race, which is always a big race. So Daytona, like I said, on July 2nd there at 7:45. Saturday, it's a nighttime race. It won't be dark.
It's always good when they race under the lights.
Well, it's not. It's going to be 7:45 where they are. It's going to be about 4 o'clock here, 4:45. But I don't know if it's going to be in the dark. They do have races that are in the dark, and those are awfully fun races to watch. You have the Charlotte Motor really Speedway.
Different track dynamics there with the degree and temperature difference. It changes some things for the cars. So.
Back on May 21st, they had the NASCAR All-Star Sprint Cup race, and that was a 9 o'clock p.m. start. So they definitely raced on the lights there.
Have you ever been to the Sonoma track?
I haven't. My buddy was actually my friend was actually at that race, and my sister has gone a few times too. So pretty cool there.
I've gone before. It's pretty fun. It is unfortunate because it is always in the summertime here in Northern California, so it's always pretty hot. But it's really not just a race. It's like a weekend trip.
It's an event.
Because you have you have people camping out overnight. Like I've gone before with my uncle, and we have a trailer set up. So on Saturday night you can on Saturday you can walk around the track. They have smaller races, little cars. Little, not necessarily NASCARs or stock cars, but little sprint cars. They have little races there. They have you can walk around in the pit area sometimes. Every driver has a little shop store trailer set up, and then you have really kind of like camping in more of a instinct. You have a trailer set up there in a yard. People are playing catch with their football, playing cards, watching movies. A lot of alcohol involved, obviously, but Yeah, it's really a fun event. I would not be opposed to going to them again. It's different, interesting. So,
well, we will definitely keep an eye on NASCARs for sure. With next week, of course, being the it's not the Daytona 500, but it is a Daytona race, which are always fun to watch, and the Coke Zero 400. So, obviously, something we will update you guys on our next show, which our next sports show will be on Thursday. Won't have it for you then, but next week on Tuesday we will. So
yeah, that's true.
We're going to get going. I don't have anything else to tell you guys.
Not really for sports-wise. Did you see that the Yankees and Rangers, their rain delay last night? Or should I say this morning?
You did tell me a little bit about it.
It was a 3.5-hour rain delay.
Starting in the ninth inning.
So the Yankees had a 6-5 lead. So they rain delay for 3.5 hours. The Rangers end up coming back and winning it 9-6. But they had a 3.5-hour rain delay, and the game didn't get started again until after 2 in the morning. Could you imagine having to? Do you think you're taking naps in the clubhouse?
Maybe. I don't know.
Can't they just wait until the next day and play one inning, or just even call the game?
It's usually when it's that close they won't. But
well, yeah, I know, a one-run game, but it's
kills me, man. It kills me.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, Joe Girardi wasn't too happy about it either.
Well, I wouldn't be either. You have to wait 3.5 hours. You're 2 in the morning playing a baseball game. How many fans are honestly there?
Probably not many.
Probably 4.
Yeah.
Who would really be there waiting, sleeping through a rain delay in their seat?
Let's put it this way, not me.
I wouldn't be there either. I went to a college football game once. I went to a Cal-Oregon game.
And I went to Cal-Washington State last year.
It was pouring down rain, and obviously we're still in the game, and still at the game, but it's not a fun experience just getting downpoured on just standing there. And it was a national televised game, so the commercials are longer in between series and everything. Yeah, man,
that sounds like a bummer.
It was not fun.
It was a nice sunshiny day when I went and saw Cal-Washington State, so.
Well, great for you, bud.
Thanks. Saw number 1 pick Jared Goff.
Hey, something to maybe tell your grandkids one day.
Yeah, unless he sucks.
Well, he's still a number 1 pick, so.
It's true. You know who was number 2 pick, though? Ryan Leaf. So my brother's met him. He went to Washington State, so I guess that's cool. But we're going to get out of your hair, guys. We're going to go ahead and get going. So, again, we'll be back on Tuesday with 2 brand new episodes. But we're going to go ahead and get going on our soccer show here not too long from now. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. As always, you can find us on our website at gsmcpodcast.com. And you can find us on Twitter at where, Ben?
At GSMC_sports, as well as Instagram.
And don't forget to use that hashtag. Do the quick.
There you go.
Hashtag.
Put it up. Put your hashtag up.
Boom. Hashtag GSMC Podcast Network. We will always see it, of course. And you can find us and all of our wonderful shows as well on YouTube, as a matter of fact.
Yes, the YouTube channel posts, numerous videos every day. Every podcast that gets finished, it goes up on YouTube.
Yep, so don't forget that either. And as always, I'm Alex.
And I am Ben.
And we will see you guys on Thursday, okay?
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will, Ben.
I hope everyone has a good couple days till we talk to you again. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Pretty much any way you can find a podcast, we are there.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you later.
Have a good day, guys. Peace out. Don't be OJ.
Don't be OJ now.